Mulabwanji, everyone! Hope you're having a fabulous day wherever you may be. This is Omar Life. My name is Kim and we're broadcasting from Lusaka, Zambia. And today on the Health Show, I want to tell you everything about Artemisia. Artemisia afra to be exact, because there are different types of Artemisia. So Artemisia afra, afra stands for Africa. So this is the type of Artemisia that is indigenous to Africa. In fact, it's the only one of the Artemisia species that is indigenous to Africa. And it grows really widely. You find it all through the southern region of Africa. It's very prevalent in South Africa, where it's been used as a traditional medicine for hundreds of years. And you find it further north, Namibia, here in Zambia, it grows as well. And then also further north, Tanzania, Kenya, Uganda, even as far north as northern Ethiopia. So very, very prevalent. Also known as wormwood, African wormwood to be exact. And like I said, it's important to know what Artemisia you're taking, because the different types of species of Artemisia have different properties. So for instance, Artemisia afra, to give you another example, is considered non-toxic. I mean, there are even studies that shown that it's supportive to the liver. It actually helps, regenerate the liver. However, then you have other Artemisia species like Artemisia absinthium that tends to be more toxic. It's been shown to be toxic to the kidneys. So it is important to know what Artemisia you are talking about or taking for that matter. So today it's all about Artemisia afra, the African version. So what is Artemisia? Well, it grows like a shrub in clumps, gets to about 0.5 meter to 2 meters high. Leaves are small, kind of like fern leaves, and dark green in color on the top, but on the other side, much lighter, light green with some white bristles on it. So why would you want to take Artemisia afra? What is it good for? Well, one of the main things it is known for and has been used for hundreds of years, particularly in southern Africa, is the treatment of malaria. And it actually not just treats malaria, it's a prophylaxis also. So it protects you from malaria. And if we think about it, one of the popular drugs that is being used as an antimalarial is of course artemisinin. Now artemisinin is the active compound that has been derived from the plant Artemisia. But of course that is just one active compound that you would find in the plant. All plants contain hundreds, thousands of active compounds that we haven't studied. We don't really know how they work. We've identified one, artemisinin in Artemisia, and we know that is good for malaria. That might explain it. But there might be others in there. And remember, all these plant compounds, they work together synergistically. Now, malaria, of course, is a parasite. And what we've found with Artemisia, that traditionally it's not just been used to treat the malaria parasite, but many other parasites, including all sorts of intestinal worms. Wherever you live in the world, you're always going to be exposed to all sorts of parasites and things. But I find that living in Africa, particularly in Africa, it's probably a good idea to do like a cleanse, a parasitic cleanse, intestinal cleanse, at least once a year, just to clean out the system. And that's certainly what I do. And then instead of using chemical, pharmaceutical drugs to achieve that, you could use Artemisia, this natural plant. It works beautifully. And that's what I do. So once a year, at least, I do a parasitic cleanse with Artemisia. And it's super easy to do. The only thing is that Artemisia, when you take it, it's very, very bitter. But don't despair. You actually get used to the taste. So let me show you how I do it. So if we open this up, it has quite a distinctive, strong smell. And all this it's the leaves that have been dried and ground or pounded into a powder. I'll just take some up here. It kind of clumps together a little bit, like so. But essentially, for a parasitic cleanse, a full body parasitic and intestinal worm cleanse, you need to take 2 heaped teaspoons or a big tablespoon in hot water as a tea every day for, I do 14 days, minimum 7 days, but I would recommend a full course of 14 days. And to make it super, super simple, what I do is I just get a thermos like this, and I put my 2 teaspoons of Artemisia, heaped teaspoons in there, and then I fill about 1 liter of water, which I've done already, and then I close it and I just shake it. Yeah, shake it and let that Artemisia infuse. So I have my tea in there, and then I just take this flask to work and I sip the Artemisia throughout the day. That's how I do it. Super, super simple. I find it easier than just preparing a full cup of tea, drinking that whole thing. I find it easier just to sip it throughout the day, and I just have it with me. Now, when you first do this, when you first taste this, if you've never tasted it before, you will be shocked at how bitter it is. It is so, so bitter. So you may want to put honey or another sweetener in there. That's how I started out doing it. That's absolutely fine. But what I have found, what I've noticed is that the first day or so that I drink it, I find the bitterness like almost overwhelming. But then it's like I get used to it. And not that I would choose to drink it normally as a beautiful tea, but I actually start enjoying it to some level. So don't despair when you first taste it and you think, oh my gosh, I can't do this for 14 days. Yes, you can, because your taste buds change. And what you know, in the way we eat our diet, we actually eat very, very little bitter food. So we're not used to it. And the bitterness in the foods, it's very good for us. So this is a way for you to introduce a little bit more bitterness for your taste buds, not your emotions, in your life, and it will serve you well. So I'm gonna take a little swig of my Artemisia tea here. There we go. Now, it has, like I said, it has a very strong aroma, and I know it's gonna be bitter, but here we go. It's not too bad. The bitterness kind of comes afterwards. I haven't put any honey in here, but I'm quite used to the taste, so it's okay for me. But like I say, you can start with a bit of honey. Now, there will be bits of leaves in there. Personally, I don't mind it. I kind of just chew it and swallow it. But of course, you can sieve it if you want to. That's a personal choice. So as I've been saying, Artemisia, very good for not just the treatment of malaria, but also preventative. And of course, it's been used to treat all sorts of parasites and intestinal worms for centuries, dating as far back as the ancient Egypt. But it does other things too. Traditionally, it's been used extensively also for the treatment of colds and flu. So yes, you can take it as a tea, and just drink it like that. Traditionally also, they would put the leaves up in the nostrils, and that would relieve any congestion. So if you have some in the garden, you can try that. And what you can also do is do like a steam bath. So just a pot of hot water, you put some Artemisia in there, a towel over your head, and steam, and that should also relieve any pressure in your sinuses, but also help in the treatment of the cold or flu, whatever you're experiencing. Just as an interesting side note, in April 2020, the Madagascan president officially launched a COVID cure. He called it COVID Organic, I believe. And what it was just local herbs. Substantial part of it was Artemisia that was given as a tea. And I think it's quite interesting that Artemisia was one of the major herbs in there. And of course, it's because traditionally it has been used to treat all sorts of colds and flus and influenza. Now, of course, there is no scientific research to back this up, but if you're suffering from a cold or a flu, why not take some Artemisia? The wonderful thing, like I said in the beginning, with Artemisia afra, the African variety, is that it isn't toxic, so you don't have to worry about negative side effects. There'll only be an upside. And also, Artemisia afra has lots of antioxidants, it's well known for that, and it has anti-inflammatory properties. So there are lots of reasons why you may want to choose this and do a course of this. It's not something you take every day, but like I said, every now and again, do a 7-day course or a 14-day course, especially if you're doing that whole intestinal parasite worm detox. So that's it. I hope you found some of the information useful, and I hope you do try it. If you do, let me know what you think. Did it work for you? Leave a comment. Always love hearing from you. Have a beautiful, blessed day. Until next time, bye.